Hi guys, today I'm joined by Anik Patru from Pony Express. Thank you for joining us, Nick. So do you want to tell guys a little bit about Pony Express?
Yeah, sure. So we basically, what we do is help people to fall in love with public speaking and then use that newfound love to use it to grow their businesses. That's what we do in a nutshell.
And how long have you been running the business?
So officially like 6 years, but as a business, 4 years. And I tell you, like the beginning, I don't know, how old is your business?
My other business is 4 years old.
Yeah, if you remember back, when you started, I don't know the amounts of times my husband had to pay my rent and I couldn't sell, I had no certainty, and I found, like all the emotional grounding you need to run a business is always missing. And I think, especially for a lot of people listening who are just starting out, it's a pain. But I feel over the years, the perseverance can go a long way.
It's a scary time, isn't it? And we've all been through it, and we're all come out the other side, and we're still alive, and it's fine.
Just about.
So what inspired you to set up Pony Express in the first place?
Totally my own fear. Mm-hmm. I was always loud, and then people would always say I need you go to the front, because everyone thought I was so confident, but I was just masking all my insecurities. And at some point, I was just like, this is just not working. If you constantly feel like a fraud because you're constantly faking it. And I never actually knew that I just by chance, I did some speaker training, and then I realized, wow, it's so deep and it can actually be so healing. I never ever anticipated that, and then obviously, you shed all your layers. There was a lot of crying involved. You would never probably associate with speaker training, but you come out on the other side, and then years later you realize, wow, crazy voices, they're hardly there anymore. Of course I still get them, but not as I used to. So yes.
And so how many people do you think you've trained up in those sort of 4 years? Any idea?
Thousands.
Yeah.
I don't know. My husband, he recently got involved in the business because he's so good measuring, tracking things. He would probably know. I don't know. I'm just so bad with numbers. I don't know. I'm good with people and words, but I don't know. Ask me for numbers, don't know. Loads.
Is there a sort of? Do you have a specific customer type? I know part of this answer because we were talking about it before we came on camera. I remember you saying that you more often get women than men.
Yeah. So for some reason, we're just now starting to rework our positioning, and we have never said women only, but we attract a lot of women, no matter, how, wherever they are, either starting their business or running, recruitment companies and having to lead a team of 15 to 20 people. A lot of them are women, and I can't even tell you why. It's amazing. Someone said to me the other day, it's the pony branding, or it's you, Anik. It's like, am I so attractive to women? I'm pleased, but I don't know. I
wonder if it's a confidence thing too, because I think women are a lot more. If I look at my friends and I look at people I know starting out businesses, the women are a lot more honest about the fact they have fears and the fact that they are lacking in confidence. The men will mask it more, I think, and just go bouldering in and think, I'm on uncertain ground, but I'll be fine. And I want, and I wonder if that's maybe to do with how we're brought up as kids, and sort of girls are taught perhaps to be more tentative, and boys, you just go and fall over and get back up again, kind of.
Yeah, you're right. It's true. I think, especially actually thinking about all the men we actually have as part of our programs, they're no alpha males, they're all very grounded, they're very authentic, vulnerable even, and real. So yeah, very good point, definitely.
Are there particular industries that people should come to you from?
No, loads from, honestly, I don't know, what was one of the, people who are writers, spiritual healers, people who run office spaces or advertising agencies, loads of different things. And a mix, some people run their own business, and other people, they simply, are in a corporate job and know there's something more, to that, either push their career or one day starting their own business.
Okay, so if I was going to sign up to Pony Express, what might describe my experience? Because there's going to be crying?
Look, the crying bit comes from, so let's take one day we run called Falling in Love with Public Speaking. It's our beginner's day. But often, a lot of people have so many suppressed emotions, for years. Someone says something to you, you don't deal with it, you just shut it down. Mm-hmm. And then someone gives you the space where you explore, who you are. why you share your story, how can you do it in a better way, and then you get in touch with all these emotions, you never knew even were there, and then boom, the lid comes off, and yes, there can be tears, but they're so important, because I feel all the things we suppress, like as a speaker, if you want to get really good, you have to be able to communicate from a scar that is healed and not from an open wound. So yes, there can be crying. Doesn't happen that often, but especially not in the business trainings, but when we do accessing emotions, and it's key.
And what formats do the courses take then? Is it a kind of a mixture of teaching techniques and then practicing them? If I was literally to come along off the street, what should I expect?
So you'd be up on your feet within the first half an hour maximum. Because we believe, yes, we're teaching tools and techniques, but you've got to be up as soon as possible, either, in front of everyone, or in front of a smaller group, to experiment, to really get feedback and then take it to the next level. So much speaking. I sometimes call it exposure therapy, but that's how it works. We can teach you all the concepts in the world, and then you go out, it's like, I know how to do it right, but you get it wrong because you haven't practiced and experienced it.
And how many people roughly do you have in a group?
So it depends. Like when we run our beginner's day, the falling in love with public speaking, 16 maximum, sometimes 20, but we keep it really small so we can really ensure it's a safe space. And bigger trainings, 30, 50. We're still, a startup on some level, very boutique, but let's see, we have plans for world domination.
And do you also run speaking events alongside that, alongside the trainings?
Yeah. We run public events every night, obviously, I'm not every night. God, no, that would make me so exhausted. Not every night, but every month, where then people come to, and then our business model is, and we promote and we upsell at the events into additional trainings, but in a very nurturing, and non-pushy way.
And what kind of speakers do you have at those events?
So it depends, a lot Elliot and I do. Elliot's my business partner, he's the commercial director, he makes sure that there's actually, money in the bank. I don't know, I feel a lot of women, when we start out, it's really difficult to charge and raise your prices, and so it's always good to have a mentor. And we do things like entrepreneurial storytelling or powerful openings, or sometimes if someone is really amazing, like we had Daniel Priestley last night, and I adore this man, he's so good at business building, then we get external speakers in as well.
And then, so you mentioned Elliot, was he originally your mentor? Did you say that? Did you bring him in as a mentor?
I saw him at an event, and he was on stage, and when I wanted to put on the very first Pony Express evening, I thought, I wish I could approach him, and he would be involved. And then for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I had this draft in my emails. It's like, should I email him? Why, will he get involved? I'm no one, I'm nothing. And then I sent the email, and he replied. And he said, yeah, cool, sounds amazing. And then he has been on my side ever since. He's my business husband, basically.
And one final question, where did the name come from?
Have you ever heard of the American Pony Express?
I have.
Yeah, so in 1860 in America, you had Buffalo Bill, all these cool pony riders, delivering a message, a mail delivery service. And when I started, I read that story, and it was really dangerous for them, to do their journey. And some of them died, some of them got robbed, and every time I stood on the stage, I felt like dying, and I found it was so dangerous, put myself out there, and I just loved that whole association, and that's why we chose Pony Express. That's the name.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really interesting talking to you.
Thanks. Good for having me.